4th October 2023 Morning Murli Om Shanti BapDada Madhuban. Sweet children, have the faith that your souls and that those are your bodies. There is no question of having visions, and thus, even if people were to have a vision of a soul, they wouldn't be able to understand it. Question: by following which Srimad of the Father will you be liberated from being punished in the jail of a worm? Answer: the Father Srimad is children became conquerors of attachment, belong to the one Father and none other. Simply remember me and don't perform any sinful acts, and you will be liberated from being punished in the jail of a worm. You have been jailbirds here for birth after birth. The Father has now come to liberate you from that punishment. There is no jail of the worm in the golden age. Om Shanti. The spiritual Father explains to you, spiritual children, what a soul is and who the Supreme Soul, his Father, is. He explains this once again because this is an impure world. Those who are impure are always senseless. The pure world is the sensible world. Bharat was the pure world. That is, it was the kingdom of deities. It was the kingdom of Lakshmi and Narayan. They were very wealthy and happy. But the people of Bharat don't understand those things. They don't know the Father, the Supreme Father, the Creator. It is only human beings who would know this. Animals would not know this. They even remember, O Supreme Father, Supreme Soul. He is the Paralokik Father. The soul remembers its Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul. It is a physical father who gives birth to a body, whereas that Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, is the Paralokik Father, the Father of souls. People worship Lakshmi and Narayan. They understand that they existed in the golden age and that Ram and Sita were in the silver age. The Father comes here and explains, children, you have been remembering me, your Paralokik Father, for birth after birth. God, the Father, would definitely be the incorporeal one. We souls are also incorporeal. We became corporeal after coming here. This very small matter doesn't enter anyone's intellect. That unlimited Father of yours is the Creator. You call out, you are the Mother and Father. We belong to you, and so we became the masters of heaven. Then we forget you and became the masters of hell. That Father now sits here and explains through this one, I am the Creator and this is my creation. I am explaining the secrets of it to you. Thus one also understands. No one had seen a soul, so why do they say, I am a soul? You understand that your soul shed your bodies and take others. It is said, a great soul, a charitable soul. You have the faith, I am a soul and this is my body. Each body is perishable, whereas an imperishable soul is a child of that Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul. This is such an easy matter, but good sensible ones are unable to understand. Maya has locked your intellects. You can't have a vision of yourselves, a soul. It is souls that take many births. Their fathers change in every birth. Why do you not have the faith that you are a soul? You ask to have a vision of a soul. For so many births, did you tell anyone that you should have a vision of a soul? Some people do have a vision of a soul, but they are unable to understand it. You don't know the Father. No one apart from the unlimited Father can grant souls a vision of God. They say, Oh God, So he is the father, is he not? You have two fathers. One is a perishable father who gives birth to a perishable body. The other is the perishable father of imperishable souls. You sing, you are the mother and father. You remember him, and so he must surely have come. Must he not? Jagadamba and Jagatpita are sitting here. They are studying Raj Yoga. There was the kingdom of Lakshmi and Narayan in paradise. They too existed in Bharat. People believe that heaven is somewhere up above. But the memorials of Lakshmi and Narayan are here, and so they must surely have ruled their kingdom here. The Dilwara temple is the memorial of your present time. You are Raj Yogis. You have Kumaris, and Kumaris are sitting here, and the memorial of this is created on the path of devotion. The name Dilwara also has a meaning. Who is the one who conquers your hearts? Thus Adidev and Adidevi are studying Raj Yoga. They too would remember that incorporeal Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul. He is the highest on high, the ocean of knowledge. He sits in the body of this Adidev and explains to all of you children. They don't know anything about when that temple was built, why it was built, or whose memorial it is. They mention the names of so many goddesses: Kali, Durga, Annapurna, means goddesses of food. Who would be the goddess Annapurna, who provides the food for the whole world? Do you know which goddesses fulfill people's need for food? Bharat was heaven. There were plenty of material comforts there. Until only 80 to 90 years ago, you could still get 85 pounds of grain for 10 to 12 annas, means 3/4 of a rupee. So everything would have been so cheap before that. In the golden age, grains etc. are very good and cheap. However, no one understands even this. The Father comes here and teaches you souls. Souls listen through their physical senses. The soul has received thus eyes with which to see and ears with which to hear. The Father says, I, the incorporeal, also take support of the body of this one. I am always called Shiv. People have given me many names: Rudra, Shiv, Somnath, but my one and only name is Shiv. Devotees have been remembering God and sing salutations to Shiv. It is now 2500 years since they came into existence. On the path of devotion, there was at first unadulterated worship. You have now put me into the pebbles and stones. It is now the end of that devotion. I have come to take everyone back home. This old world is to end. Bombs have been manufactured, and so everyone will be destroyed in a short time. In the golden age, there are so few people. There are only 900,000. Where will all the rest go? There will be wars and earthquakes, etc. Destruction definitely has to take place. Thus one is Prajapita. There are so many Brahma Kumaris and Kumaris. Who is the father of Brahma? Incorporeal Shiv. You are his grandsons and granddaughters. You are claiming your inheritance from shivbaba. So, you have to remember him alone. It is by having remembrance that your burden of sins will be removed. You know that this is a vicious, impure world. The golden age is a viceless world. There is no poison, means vice there. According to the system, everyone only has one son. There is never untimely death there. It is the land of happiness. Here, there is so much sorrow. However, no one knows these things. They relate the Gita. The virgins of God are the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Acha, who is God? They say that it is Sri Krishna. Oh, but he is a young child, so how could he teach Raj Yoga? At that time, the world is not impure. The one who teaches Raj Yoga for salvation has to exist here. In the Gita, it is written, the sacrificial fire of the knowledge of Gita of Rudra. There is no sacrificial fire of the knowledge of the Gita of Sri Krishna. Thus, sacrificial fire has been continuing for so many years. When will it end? When the whole world is sacrificed into it. At the end of a sacrificial fire, they sacrifice everything into it. This sacrificial fire will continue till the end. This old world is going to end. The Father says, I am the death of all deaths. I have come to take everyone back home. I am teaching you so that you become the masters of heaven. You know that at this time all human beings are constantly unfortunate. In the golden age, you were constantly fortunate. Explain this difference to everyone. When people come here, they understand very well, but as soon as they return home, everything is finished. Similarly, they make a promise in the jail of a worm that they won't commit any more sin. Then, as soon as they come out, they begin to commit sin again. They are jailbirds. At this time, all human beings are jailbirds. They repeatedly enter the jail of a worm and experience punishment. The Father says, I am now liberating you from becoming jailbirds of a worm. In the golden age, a worm is not called a jail. I have come to liberate you from that punishment. Now remember me. Don't commit any sin. Become conquerors of attachment. People sing mine is one alone and none other. They are not referring to Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna took 84 births and has now come and become Brahma. He is the one who will then become Sri Krishna again. That is why he has entered this body. This drama is predestined. God is now establishing the sun and moon dynasties. He is creating your reward for the future. You are now making effort and creating your reward for many births with the unlimited Father, who is the creator of heaven. These matters have to be understood. Each actor has his own part in the drama. Why should we weep and wail about this? We remember that one Father while we are alive. We are not even concerned about these bodies. When we shed these old bodies, we will go to Baba. At this time, you serve Bharat so much. Your names are remembered as Annapurna, Durga, Kali, etc. There isn't really any Kali with a fearsome form or Ganesh with an elephant's trunk. Human beings are human beings. The Father now explains to you, I am making you children become like Lakshmi and Narayan. Have the faith that you are claiming your inheritance from Baba, and then in the future you will become prince and princesses. No one knows the Father, who is the creator of heaven. They have even forgotten Jagdamba. The ones whose temples have been built are now sitting here in living forms. After the Iron Age, there has to be the Golden Age. People ask when destruction will take place. However, first of all, study and become clever. The Mahabharata war definitely took place, and it was only after that that the gates to heaven opened. So the gates to heaven are now being opened through these mothers. They sing salutations to the mothers. It is pure ones who are praised. There are two types of mother. One type is of physical social workers and the other is of spiritual social workers. This is your spiritual pilgrimage. You know that we will shed our bodies and go back home. God speaks, Man Manabhav. Remember me, your father. Sri Krishna, the child would not say this. He has his own father. No one understands the meaning of Man Manabhav. The father says, Remember me, and your sins will be absolved, and you will receive wings with which to fly. You are now changing from those with stone intellects into those with divine intellects. The Creator, the Father of all, is only one. There are also the temples to Adidev and Adidevi. You, their children, are studying Raj Yoga here. It is here that you did tapasya, and so your memorials are in front of you. How did Lakshmi and Narayan receive their kingdom? That is their temple. You are Raj Rishis. You are now making effort to attain your kingdom or attain your fortune of the kingdom of Bharat once again. You are establishing the kingdom of heaven in Bharat. You are serving Bharat with your own bodies, minds, and wealth. You are liberating everyone from the impure kingdom of Ravan by following the Father Srimad. The Father is the liberator, the remover of sorrow, and the bestower of happiness. He inspires the destruction of the old world in order to remove your sorrow. He enables you to conquer your enemy so that you can become conquerors of Maya and conquerors of the world. You claim the kingdom every cycle and then lose it. Thus is the sacral fire of the knowledge of Rudra Shiv, through which the flames of destruction emerge. All of them will be destroyed, and you will become constantly happy. Sorrow begins in the copper age. The Father says, I come and change the restaurants of hell into restaurants of heaven. The Iron Age is a brothel, and the Golden Age is Shivalaya. You are being made into the masters of heaven by the unlimited Father, and so your mercury of this happiness should rise. Acha, to the sweetest, beloved, long lost, and now found children, love, remembrance, and good morning from the Mother, the Father, BapDada. The spiritual Father says, Namaste to the spiritual children. The spiritual children says, Namaste and good morning to the spiritual Father. Essence for the dharana. First point, remember the Father for as long as you live and claim your right to the inheritance. Don't be concerned about anything. Second point, do the service of making Bharat into heaven by using your body, mind, and wealth according to Srimad, and show everyone the way to be liberated from Ravan. Blessing, may you be a world transformer who burns away the rubbish of the world with an intense fire of yoga. Explanation, all the rubbish of impurities can be burnt away with the intense fire of yoga, that is, in a fire of love and power of elevated thoughts. In the memorial of the goddesses, it is shown that the devilish powers were finished in an intense fire. That memorial is of this present time. So first of all, become an intense form of fire and burn away devilish sanskars and nature and become completely pure. You will then become an instrument for world transformation and burn the rubbish of the world in a fire of yoga and purity. Slogan, an obedient soul is one who is free from following the dictates of himself and others and constantly followed Srimad. Om Shanti